So thank you all for being here. Thank you for the introduction. Indeed, I'm going to talk about Smartshape. Smartshape is a software platform, and we'd like to say it's the collaborative and connected and programmable digital twin for engineering mega projects. So it's gonna indeed wrap up a few things that have been said for the past few days, especially this morning. I'm gonna start talking about the problem we solve. The problem we solve, we call it the design versus build paradox. You have here some kind of a very simplistic timeline of how an engineering project goes, and it's the same for shipbuilding. So you have those multiple phases from sales to classifications to maintenance, right? Going through design and build, of course. And what we have in the middle is what we call the hard wall of reality. And basically, when we go from the design phase, where everything is software, everything is magical, everything's automated, to the actual real world, you have this big, thick wall, which is very, very hard to actually jump over. And what usually happens is that all the data we have, all the CAD data, simulation, and so on, and databases we have in design, to get all of that in the hands of people doing the actual building or maintenance and operation is a big problem. We usually end up having PDF files, Excel spreadsheets, and so on, which causes many problems I will talk just about right now. The big problem is all of this is what we call classic engineering. The big problem with all those files and all this data extraction is that you have fragmentation. So different people will see different things. Like you will export an Excel spreadsheet for someone and you will export a PDF for someone else. And they will end up seeing the different things for the same project. We all talk about digital twin, but we think it's a really bad choice of words, because if you take a couple of twins and put them in separate rooms and you ask them the same question, they will probably give you different answers, okay? So a twin is not what you want, because you end up with fragmentation. With all those data export, you also end up with what we call dead data. When you have a PDF in front of you, okay, and you want to make some changes, you need those changes to go back to where the PDF come from. Otherwise, the data is lost, okay? So all these exports are called dead data. And another problem is sequential silos. The very simple idea that all those teams, they work in sequence, and it's very hard for them to talk to each other, mainly because exchanging information is really hard. So to deal with that, we think there is a need for a paradigm shift, and to go from the classic engineering into the concurrent engineering. And that's what I'm going to talk today, concurrent engineering, and how Smartshape wears that. So in concurrent engineering, instead of fragmentation, you have a single source of truth, which is a word that has been talked about a lot today. Instead of dead data, you have live processes. And in front of sequential silos, you have what we call collaborative networks. So in front of each problem, you will have a solution inside Smartshape. The goal behind that is to trigger what we call the infinite concurrent engineering virtuous loop. So this is this infinity loop you have here. Instead of having this timeline, which is straight and a linear, you have here an infinite loop which goes from design to build to operate and back again. Here, for example, when you have your initial design, you share it with the team who's building it, and the team who's building it can actually make meaningful comments directly on the same data you have. Those comments you can reconciliate in your design and deliver as built. And the same goes for operation between build and so on. So you have this infinite loop where you can design, build, maintain, rebuild, redesign, and so on forever, which give you higher quality, higher efficiency, and overall a competitive edge. So to talk about that and to talk about our product, no one better than actual clients. So I'll give the floor to Christophe Dutrieux and Laurent Castin from les Chantiers Atlantiques, that you might know of, like STX France. That's the old name.
On travaille sur un site qui est très étendu. On travaille essentiellement sur des prototypes de très grande dimension. Donc on a un problème de diffusion de l'information et d'utilisation de l'information.
Être capable là maintenant tout de suite de dire finalement je vais chercher les informations de CAO, j'ai rendre accessible sur une tablette, on était foutu de faire ça et on était à des années-lumière d'imaginer que c'était possible.
Et il faut s'en souvenir, nous sommes un chantier. Un chantier, ça veut dire que tous les gens ne sont pas à des postes de travail et donc ils ont besoin d'avoir accès à l'information, je dirais, en se déplaçant sur le chantier. Voilà une des raisons qui nous a amené à chercher une digitalisation la plus grande possible et la plus itinérante possible du chantier.
C'est dans ce cadre-là qu'on a découvert donc finalement la solution Smartshape. Avec Smartshape, on est en train de montrer que finalement, on est capable d'apporter de la valeur aux gens qui construisent des bateaux. On est capable de prendre de l'avance, on est capable de faciliter le boulot, on est capable d'améliorer la qualité du travail, on est capable d'améliorer beaucoup de choses. C'est ce qui est séduisant dans Smartshape, c'est que finalement tout ça c'est faisable.
Nous sommes ici parmi les entreprises qui utilisent les plus grosses maquettes numériques au monde. On construit les plus beaux, les plus gros et les plus complexes paquebots du monde.
Et le premier enjeu, c'était de dire, est-ce qu'on est capable de déployer les maquettes des paquebots, qui sont des modèles 3D excessivement lourds, excessivement complexes, dans des conditions où le réseau n'est pas forcément super rapide et où le terminal n'est pas forcément un grand écran de 27 pouces.
Donc, côté production, notre besoin n'est pas du tout d'être dans la conception CAO, mais vraiment la consultation. Du coup, aujourd'hui, Smartshape nous permet de consulter cette maquette, d'avoir les infos à partir de n'importe quel type de support. On arrive avec juste une tablette, un smartphone ou un ordinateur portable à accéder à la donnée. Un des gros avantages qu'on voit aussi aujourd'hui avec Smartshape pour nous, selon les stades de montage, on va avoir différents intervenants.
Je suis à bord du navire, je vois ma maquette 3D, je pointe du doigt l'objet qui m'intéresse et je dis ça c'est monté et ça va renseigner dans le RP que effectivement telle pièce est montée.
Là, on a un code couleur qui nous dit tout de suite, voilà, ça a dû être monté par tel stade, ça c'est par un autre. N'importe quelle personne, même non initiée, va avoir la réponse, qui monte quoi et à quel stade.
Une des grosses caractéristiques de Smartshape, c'est que c'est capable de transporter de l'information de manière progressive, un peu en mode streaming. Et ça rendait déjà possible l'accès à la maquette 3D dans des conditions finalement de mobilité. Après, il fallait que ce soit assez simple d'emploi, assez intuitif. On a fait quasiment pas de formation.
L'avantage de Smartshape, c'est qu'on est sur un logiciel qui est très intuitif. On va pouvoir développer encore plus le côté discussion, relation, que ce soit en interne STX ou avec nos co-réalisateurs et même plus largement ensuite vis-à-vis de nos clients. Le travail est plus collaboratif, ce qui nous permet de vraiment gagner du temps et de gagner en autonomie.
La preuve en est, c'est que les gens de la supply chain jusqu'à présent n'accédaient jamais à la maquette. Pourquoi ? Parce que c'est trop compliqué. C'est super compliqué, il faut connaître les outils CAO et ainsi de suite. Si je veux savoir où se trouve tel composant que je suis censé approvisionner, un coup de Smartshape, et très vite je sais ce que c'est, si c'est gros, si c'est petit, où ça se trouve, est-ce que ça va être pénalisant ou pas. C'est d'une facilité déconcertante. Et ça, c'était super important de rendre excessivement facile l'accès à cette information.
De faire sortir notre informatisation et de la mettre à la disposition de tous, je dirais, dans la poche de chacun.
Ça, c'est vraiment un des gros gains de Smartshape. Cet accès à l'information, il est simple, finalement, tout bêtement. Quand je regarde ce que font nos concurrents et néanmoins collègues ou inversement, on a pris quelques années d'avance sur ce sujet-là, quoi. J'ai pas vu beaucoup d'industries qui soient à ce niveau-là. C'est un accélérateur, ce produit. C'est ce qui rend finalement la digitalisation dans le monde de l'ingénierie possible maintenant, là, tout de suite.
So if you want to rewatch that video, you can watch it on our YouTube channel. So about Smartshape and at the Chantiers de l'Atlantique. So it's been in production since the first quarter of 2017, okay, so almost 3 years now. And the goal and the vision of the Chantiers de l'Atlantique is to have all CAD designs in Smartshape with one-to-one fidelity. So you have every object, you have the exact same representation you have in your CAD design software. When we mean all CAD designs, we mean all CADs. They have multiple CADs vendors. They have Spark Marine. They have Bentley. They have multiple CADs. Everything ends up in Smartshape. And you have a live read and write between all their system, like their ERP, for example, they're using SAP, and Smartshape at the object level, and that's what I'm showing today. It's available to more than 800 users in the company, but also for contractors that are working on the shipyard. They have more than 4,000 3D design inside Smartshape today, which accounts for more than 30 million parts and 300 million attributes on those parts. Okay, so a lot of things. And basically all ships that have been designed for the past 2 years are designed and visualized inside Smartshape. And thanks to Smartshape, they can start building a ship with just 30% of the design phase done. So they start building, and they only have an idea of 30% of the whole ship, right? So that's what we call concurrent engineering. So what's Smartshape? Smartshape is actually a concept. Before I do a short demo, the concept of a shape first, of course, a 3D or a 2D design, or even photogrammetry, and very soon point clouds too, so a shape, any kind of shape. And data coming from ERP, PDM, or any kind of business database you have today, plus code. So that's the big difference, because if you just take the first two elements, you have a pseudo digital twin, okay, the famous digital twin. But if you have code embedded inside the twin, then you end up with what we call a smart shape. So Smartshape is a platform. It's available on PC and on mobile. So on PC, via a simple web browser, you have access to all the designs, like I will show you. And when you are on site, on the shipyard, for example, you have access to the mobile app. It's the same app, it's the same UI, it's the same data. Everyone working on the same project will see the same thing at the same time. So demo time. That's usually where everything breaks, right? So here you can see a very simple design. Okay, I'm opening inside my web browser. You'll notice how fast it loads. That's what Christophe Dutrieu was mentioning, what we call 3D streaming. Allow us to load very, very fast, very complex design without any loss in quality. Okay, remember, there is no simplification. It's the same design as they have in their CAD software like ShipConstructor, for example. You'll see exactly the same thing in ShipConstructor and in Smartshape. It's entirely collaborative, so if I connect with a single user, so let's say that the browser on my left is someone on the shipyard using a tablet, for example, and someone on the right, either on the design office. They can be in different physical locations, no problem. They just have to connect to Smartshape. They will both log in using their credentials. So I'm going to use the signal test user here. I'm going to connect. And I'm going to have access to, of course, through the files shared with me, I can just load the same design. And what's going to happen is that on the right, I will see someone joined. And you'll see on the bottom, on the top left corner, the list of users currently connected. You will see each user, where they are, okay, what they're looking at, what they have selected, and so on. And so basically, everything you do inside Smartshape, everything I will show you, is completely collaborative. So for example, here, I'm not interested in everything. I just like to see the pipes and the plates, and I will change the configuration. And you will see that immediately, both users see the same thing at the same time. So they can really easily interact with each other and work together, even from different locations. So from now on, I will show you something. You have to keep in mind it's collaborative. It works on all devices in real time. So what I'd like to show you today is how we can easily connect what we call Smartshape with an ERP. So to show that on the left, I don't have an ERP. That would not be very practical for a live demo, but I have a MySQL database with PHP-MyAdmin, okay, to show the content of the database. And inside that database, we have imported the content, basically, of what would be a part database in an ERP. So I have names, I have status, and so on. So let's take here this pipe, okay? In Smartshape, I can see it's called pipe. Well, first of all, what I will show you is that I can have a visualization of the status of my parts. So let's go into design review, for example. So here, the Smartshape has some code embedded in it to show in different colors the objects based on what we call the design status. So here, for example, this object is green, so I know immediately that the design status here is marked as to review. If I click on this red object, it's red because it's marked as for information. So why do some objects end up being red and other being green? It's because inside the Smartshape, there is some code that does exactly that. It's just one use case, one simple use case, but every shipyard, every ship owner, ship designer, is free with Smartshape to implement those programs, okay, in the Smartshape to customize how it's rendered and how it behaves when you change information. So to show you an example of that, I will use a different configuration that will allow me to have a real-time review of the piping progress. Let's say I'm doing some piping, and I need to see what's done, what's not. So you'll see that we're going to have some green pipes because they are reviewed. We're going to have some orange pipes because they have pending comments, and yellow pipes which are in progress. So here, all this information, it doesn't come from the design tool. It doesn't come from ShipConstructor, for example. That's not where this data is. It comes from the ERP. So let's take this object here, pipe 8226. So if all goes well, in my database, when I search for pipe 8226, you can see that it's not reviewed, right? So I'm on the shipyard, I've done some work, I'm going to say it's in progress. Okay? Now you see the color is updated. Everyone who sees the design will see the color change in real time. So everyone has the same information. And if I refresh here in my ERP, you will see that the information is up to date. Let's say I have another application, an existing application, where I can change the status directly from in progress to reviewed. I will do exactly that from the ERP, and you will see that in real time, the information changes in Smartshape. Okay, so this is just one small example, and you can basically implement any kind of workflow inside Smartshape by connecting those objects to databases. So how does it work with SSI, ShipConstructor? So this is a slide you've seen, I guess. So this is where Smartshape is in the visualization side of things. Of course, as you understand, it's much more than just visualization because you can actually edit, enrich, you can also add comments, and so on. But the important part is that the things I'm showing today by connecting a database to the Smartshapes will be natively done with the Information Hub. So you will have this kind of link directly, and you won't have to set up anything. And then it will be on your side to actually start programming and building your workflow and your process inside those Smartshapes. All the information in the hub will be available on your Smartshape. And the same goes for the shipbuilding PLM. The goal is really to have a native integration between Smartshape and between all the SSI tools. So another partners we have, which shows the capabilities of Smartshape, which is Bureau Veritas. As you might know, classification is a big pain because usually you have to do 2D drawings out of 3D drawings so they can get approved by the classification societies. Okay? And so with Bureau Veritas, we've been working for the past 2 years. So we have a real-time integration between the 3D drawings that you can have as a ship designer or a shipyard and the whole classification process. So basically, you just submit your existing 3D drawings without any kind of modification. So you can directly go from ShipConstructor to the classification process at Bureau Veritas. It's completely integrated with the existing application for review of your design. So they had a 20-year-old application to do design review. And we've connected this app, this 20-year-old app, to Smartshape and to those 3D designs. So if we can connect to a 20 years old app, we can connect to pretty much anything, right? So we've implemented together this classification workflow. It's entering in production at the end of the year, and there are multiple pilot projects going on. And what's really important is that as a shipyard or ship designers, you can just push your existing designs, and the classification process starts. And you can also update your designs, and everything will work along the way, exactly like I've shown. What's coming up for 2020? We're going to unveil how clients do also asset management, because Smartshape can be used for asset management, especially in the shipbuilding industry. We're also going to deliver a new open source 3D API. So today we can display massive parts of big ships or small ships entirely. The goal here is to be able to display a full cruise ship, okay, of 400 meters and 35 story high on a tablet, okay? The whole ship with every parts on a tablet or smartphone in real time. And also we're working to integrate, sorry, I'm warning myself, toward augmented reality, and we're working with Lenovo to integrate with their augmented reality goggles and platform. That's it for me. You have my contact details. I'll be here from 3 to 5 if you have any questions.
Thank you very much. Thanks, Jean-Marc.